Hello dear students, how are you all? Hopefully you are well and remain safe with your family. In this COVID-19 situations, hopefully you can understand the situation, and I know that you are in your lectures. Today our general math section, we are talking about chapter 10, and this is depends on MCQ. In this chapter and in this section of MCQ, I will discuss 6 types. This is our type number 1. In this type number 1, we are talking about horizontal line, then horizontal plane, then the vertical line, and finally vertical plane. First of all, we need to know what actually the horizontal plane is. Actually, horizontal plane, that means the it can be a surface. Actually, horizontal plane, that can be a surface. Suppose in this board, if we are thinking that this is the surface, then this can be called as the horizontal plane. In this plane, if we draw a line like this, or this, or this, or any line can be drawn in here, is generally known as the horizontal line. So a line draw on the plane or on the horizontal plane is generally known as the horizontal line. So suppose we are thinking that in this horizontal plane we will draw a horizontal line A, B. Okay, this is the line, and this name, the name of this line is horizontal line. Okay, and this horizontal line can be called as the laying line or zero line. So horizontal line can be called as the laying line or zero line. All these names are generally the surname of the horizontal line. So these names are also very important, that which are the horizontal line's surname or what can be called as laying name. So laying line can be called as zero line or horizontal line. Okay, now we are talking about vertical line. What actually the vertical line is? Okay, let me tell a example. Suppose a tree generally plant or generally grow on the ground. If we are thinking that the ground are the horizontal plane, then suppose this is the ground surface. In this ground surface, or this surface generally called as the horizontal plane, then the tree generally remain vertically on that ground. That's why we can say that tree is the vertical line on the horizontal plane. So the generally we can say suppose this is the horizontal line. If we are considering a line that is like this, so this is the line in this surface, and if we are considering any line which is generally perpendicular to the line, that is called the vertical line. So generally vertical line can be remain this. And my example was, suppose this is the ground and this is the tree. The position of the ground and the tree is called horizontal line and the vertical line respectively. However, so generally we can't generally these types of line can be draw in this board. That's why we can say that this is the line which is perpendicular to AB is called the vertical line. Okay, in this area another MCQ generally come, that is the normal line. So the vertical line can be known as or can be called as the normal line too. Okay, so this is the vertical line and this is the horizontal line, and the relationship of these two line is generally right angle or the 90 degree or 90 degree. So this also a very important MCQ for this chapter. Okay, now horizontal line and vertical line, they are in right angle, or they are in they create in their lines are 90 degree. So what about the vertical plane is? This is the very interesting type in this chapter, vertical plane. So that was our horizontal line and this is our vertical line. Okay, look carefully. So horizontal line and vertical line. So the vertical plane will be actually the surface of this area, so we may think that this point to this point and the surface of this part, this is generally called the vertical plane. So we can draw this by this way. So this can be the vertical plane. Vertical plane. So horizontal line, vertical line and vertical plane, and this plane are generally, we are assumed that was our horizontal plane. So these four types are very important in our MCQ part. Generally one MCQ arise in your any types of exams, you will get one MCQ from here. Okay, another thing from this type 1, that is the angle of elevation. Okay, I will erase this. Angle of elevation and angle of depression. Actually, angle of elevation and angle of depression, when I am thinking or I am trying to teach you in these two topics, I generally suggest you definition what I really follow. The definition can be like this. The elevation, angle of elevation will be the definition of angle of elevation is the angle at any point, the angle at any point below, above the plane, okay, above the plane is called the angle of elevation, and angle of depression will be the angle, I will not write actually, the angle at any point below, above the plane and below the plane is generally known as the angle of elevation and angle of depression. I think you can understand what actually the definition is. The definition of elevation is the angle, it must be at the point which will be about or above the plane. It will be above the plane, but in this part of the depression, it must be below the plane. Suppose if we are thinking it's a plane, in this plane, if we draw a angle like this, at the same time, at that point, if we draw the another angle like this, then what can be said by this angle and this angle? It's very much easier for us. Why? Because in this plane, this angle creates above, and in this angle are creating from the line or from the plane is below. So the angle at any point above the plane, that must be the elevation. This is generally called the angle of elevation, and here it is the below. So the angle at any point below the plane, that must be the depression angle. So this is the angle of elevation and this is the angle of depression. Okay, let me give you the another example to understand it very carefully. Suppose, so just I will write the keyword actually. Here the keyword will be what? The keyword of the elevation will be, yes, the keyword of the elevation will be above, and here the angle of depression, it will be below. Okay, suppose here there is a flat or there is a room. You may think that this is the room. In this room, if any angle creates from here to here, then this angle must be known as the angle of elevation. And this angle, suppose here again the another angle has been created, but this angle has been created below in this according or respect to this plane, this angle creates below. That's why this is the depression angle. So this is the elevation, this is the depression. Again, I wanted to show the another example. Suppose this is a 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, 6-storied building. In this building, suppose here is a friend of you are staying the top of the roof, and here you are there. So your friend here and you are there. So what actually the angle creating you and your friend? The angle of you and your friend, if we are thinking that this line, the angle create from here to your friend, that will be the angle of elevation. But maybe we are thinking another way, that is, suppose here is a plane. In this plane, you may think that in this plane your friend is going from Bangladesh to America. On the time you are here for CF, on the time what you can say? So your friend is here and you are there. Respective to your friend, here the angle is created. This angle must be the angle of depression. This angle will be the angle of depression. But here this angle will be the elevation. I think now you are your concept will be clear about the angle of elevation and angle of depression, isn't it? Okay, thank you. So this was our first type. Now we are going to our second type, math. Okay, our second type math, here actually our second type math can be known as the relationship or relation between sides of the triangle and the angle. Our second type is relation between the sides of the triangle and the angle. Okay, what actually the relation belong to the side and the angle in this right angle triangle or the triangle? We will see this. Okay, if this is the right angle triangle, then here ABC is a right angle triangle. Why? Because this is the right angle. That was our first thing. Second thing is, what side is called base and what side is called adjacent. Okay, most of us or most of you generally say that this is the base, this is the height, and this is the hypotenuse. But most importantly, on the time, I think you are agree with my figure, isn't it? Yes, you are agree. But in this type, generally we see some problems. The problems is there is no angles, but you are talking about this is the base and this is the height. It's not actually the truth, because if we are thinking that this was our required angle, then this cannot be the base, this must be the height. And since this is the angle, that's why we have to talk about that this cannot be the base. Okay, so that was the relationship between the angle and the sides. It's a very important fact. So in a nutshell, we can go some information or the rules in this part, that the opposite side of a triangle respective to the angle is called the height. So opposite side of the angle is called height, and opposite side of the 90-degree angle is called hypotenuse. Opposite side of the not angle, it will be right angle, that must be hypotenuse. That must be the hypotenuse. That is the basic difference in this chapter. And generally this part, some of the students will think, why you are talking about this? But if you can't understand what actually the relationship of base and height and hypotenuse, where we will write these three, then our total chapter 10 will be spoiled. That's why it's a very important type for us. Okay, now that was our type 2. Here we can understand where the base, where the height and where the hypotenuse in the triangle will be existing. Okay, now our type 3 says sides of the triangle and the angle where we determine bigger side or determine the side difference actually. So number 3 type is we will determine the side difference. That was the fact. We will determine the side difference. How we can go for this? Okay, I will draw 3 figures to understand this type 3 properly. First of all, if a right angle triangle where is not perfect actually, maybe it can be the perfect one. However, A, B, C. This is the 90-degree angle, but this is the angle of the right angle, and if this is our required theta or angle, if the angle is 45 degree, then what is the relationship between the base and height? That's the first question. Second question is, if the angle is 30 degree, what actually happened, or what is how the relation has been changed? Again, if it is 60 degree angle, then what actually the relationship between the height and the base? First of all, my question is from the first figure where we get the height and base. Since this is the angle, that's why we can say this will be the height, and that will be the base, and this must be the hypotenuse. Okay, when this is the 45 degree, or when the angle is 45 degree, then the relation of height and base are equal. Maybe one question has arisen in your mind that why height equal base for this angle is 45? Because if this is 90 and this is 45, then this angle is nothing but the 45 degree. This angle is nothing but the 45 degree. Since the two angles in this triangle are equal, that's why these two sides are also equal. That's why we can conclude this, or we can get a result of the conclusion of the first figure is height must be equal to the base. Okay, from second figure, here we are thinking, or we are see that the angle is 30 degree. Angle is 30 degree. Okay, and since this is our respected angle, then this is nothing but the base and this is nothing but the height, and this obviously the hypotenuse. Okay, so what's the relationship between height and base in this figure? In this figure, the height and base has a relationship, and the relationship must be the base is greater than the height. Base is greater than the height. Why? Isn't it? Why? Okay, since this is 30, then this angle will be 60. So the opposite angle of the opposite side of this angle will be greater, because this is 30, this is 60. Since 30 is less than 60, that's why this line will be the less one. That's why we can say that base must be greater than the height. Similarly, since here is 60 degree, that's why we can say here base must be less than the height. Okay, here we get three conclusions. From these conclusions, we will get final two conclusions. Our first conclusion is, if the angle greater than 45, I mean it is greater than 45. If it is greater than 45, then height will be the maximum, or height will be increased. Height will be the largest. Height will be the largest. Height will be the largest. And if the angle less than 45, then height will be the smallest. Height will be the smallest. Height will be the smallest. So these two our main conclusions from these three figures. If we are talking about these two rules, then it will be very tough for us to understand why we are going for this. That's why I wanted to show this figure to understand our two conclusions clearly. So that was our type 3. Now our fourth type is, any length of the bamboo is 20 meter. It can be the stick also. Can be the stick also, is 20 meter. What will be the length of the shadow of, if the angle of elevation is 45 degree, 30 degree and 60 degree? Okay, I will explain it clearly. Suppose this is the sun, and here the bamboo or the stick is here. Question is, what will be the length of the shadow? Since here is the sun or sunlight, for this sunlight, here we will get a shadow of the stick. The shadow of the stick will be what if the angle of elevation is 45. our first question was if the angle of elevation was 45. So here they are talking about the angle of elevation will be 45 and the length of the bamboo, that is 20 meter, is given. Length of the bamboo is 20 meter given. So we need the shadow. The shadow, that means the base, actually we have to find. So here we need find the base. So what will be the base of here if it is 45 degree? Since the bamboo or stick is here horizontally, then we can say here also we get 45 degree. And according to our type 3, we can say if the angle is 45 degree, then our base and height must be equal. If angle is 45 degree, then height is equals to the base. Since here height is 20 meter, so our base that also will be the 20 meter. So that is our required answer, that the shadow of the bamboo or shadow of the stick is 20 meter. That is the first question. Second question says if the angle is 30 meter, then what it will happen if the angle of elevation is 30 meter? And we know if it is 30 meter, then what will be here? The base must be increased or must be greater than the height. Okay. So if angle is 30 degree, base must be equal. Base must be greater than the height. So here height is given 20 meter. So first of all, since we are going for the MCQ, we need to see what actually happened here. Okay, if our option is like this, 25, then 20, then 18, then 13. If like this, then we no need to think about that 20, 18, 13, because we know that base must be greater than the height. So the greater value will be our exact answer. But maybe it's not 25, it will be the exact answer which is greater than 20. We will see by which way we can find these types of question. Suppose here is A, here is B, and here is C. Okay, so the relation between this is the height and this is the base. The relation between height and base will be our tan theta. So tan theta equal height, that is AB, and base, that is BC. And here tan theta, we know the value of 30 is 1 by root over 3 equals to AB, that will be 20, and BC we have to find. We have to find the value of BC, and the value of BC will be 20 root over 3. So the answer of this will be 20 root over 3. Okay, so this is how we can solve these types of questions. Here I wanted to mention that if it is 60 degree, then just another thing we can say from here, that if it is 60, then 60 degree height will be on the time we can say it will be then height AB by BC greater than that is base. AB by BC and angle will be 60 degree, then it will be root 3 equal this, and finally we get the 20 by root over 3. And here actually this angle, if it is 60 degree, then actually height will be the greater than the base. So this is the end of the type 4. And here we can understand what is the relationship between height and base and the others, all of that. Now we are going to type 5. Okay, type 5, and that is our last type in these sections. Okay, I will just give a example to understand total part. Suppose here is given a triangle. In this triangle, it is the right angle triangle where this angle is 60 degree, and suppose this is given 6 unit. And our first question is find AB, second question is find BC, and third question is the area of ABC. Okay, now our solution of first question. The solution of number 1. Here that is talking about you have to find the height, and here is given the hypotenuse. So what is the relationship between height and hypotenuse? The relationship between height and hypotenuse we need to know. And just for your better understanding, just I will give the formula. In this chapter we need only 3 formula, that is sin theta equal height by hypotenuse, and cos theta equal what? Yes, base by hypotenuse, and finally we get tan theta. Tan theta will be height by base. Height by base. So this is the sin theta, this is the cos theta, and tan theta. We know the formula. So here for this question we need the formula of first. We know sin theta equal height by hypotenuse. Here sin 60 degree, height we have to find, and hypotenuse is 6. We know the value of sin 60 is root 3 by 2 equal AB by 6. Then we get AB equal 6 root over 3 by 2, and the answer is 3 root over 3. This is how we can find AB. So this is how we can solve these types of question very easily. Our second question says find the value of BC. Similar way, here BC, that is our base and it is the hypotenuse. Then we'll go for the formula of cos theta. Here for number 2 we will go cos theta. We'll go actually the cos theta equal base by hypotenuse, where cos 60 equal base, that means we don't know what is the base, but hypotenuse, the value is known to us, that is 6. Then cos 60, it will be half BC by 6, and if it's 6 is here, then it will be 3. So we get the value of BC is 3, and our AB was 3 root 3, BC is 3. So what's the formula to find out the area of the triangle? That must be half into base into height. We'll go for that formula. Number 3, area will be half into base into height. Here the base is BC and the value of BC is 3, and the height is AB. We got the height was 3 root over 3. Then we get 9 root over 3 by 2. That is the way we can solve these types of math very easily. So I think you can understand all of the math or the basic of chapter 10. Just try to practice more to understand the chapter 10 very easily. Best of luck. Thank you very much.